Hello, comrades. This particular video is going to be about Trench Crusade and seeing just what happens when you go woke. Do you go broke, or does the predictable thing happen? Like, subscribe, and enjoy. Speaking of overwhelming levels of media illiteracy, Trench Crusade. Is anybody familiar with this tabletop war game? I have a passing familiarity with this game for a number of reasons. Hello, Dad. We are talking about a few different things. How are you doing today? So, Trench Crusade is a tabletop war game, and the art goes absolutely fucking hard. Like, look at this shit. Like, you can look at this and this is the not Warhammer game that kicked the chuds out, exactly. And that's the topic that we're gonna go over. Look at this shit and tell me that this isn't political. Hell, the game is literally called Trench Crusade. Two words that separately speak of times of wars between massive nations and the political machinations behind them. Put them together and you have a, fascinating, like, psycho-religious, backstory where it's literally hell on earth because of the corruption of the church. They were promised rewards by hell, and now everything is fucked because they listened to hell. Is that a mech that's both a chapel? It might not be the KKK. Those pointy hats are not just from the hyper-racists. They're also for a particular type of, like, priesthood and everything. But yeah, look at this shit. Oh, she did, let's see. Talking shit about Joe Biden? God. But yeah, if you look at this shit, it's really obvious from the imagery that they're called capriots. Okay, I suppose you would know better than anybody. But yeah, it's impossible to look at this and not see the political imagery in the World War I style outfits mixed with the hyper-religious, different sides fighting eternally over every scrap of ground, all whilst calling on darker and darker forces to, secure victory at any cost. Hell, there is a unit in Trench Crusade called the Metachrist that's basically like a clone of Jesus's body that they use to they use its blood to mutate soldiers to turn into shock troopers. And don't worry, everybody, the Metachrist may not be able to talk to tell you what kind of pain it's in, but the priests who are talking for it totally understand what it's saying, and it totally agrees with them. Not political whatsoever. Why am I bringing up Trench Crusade? Because it's, there was a cool segue before, we were talking about politics, and, I found out about the existence of Trench Crusade a while ago. It was about 6 months ago, actually. I made a post because the thing that I found, I found this out from right-wingers, oddly enough. I found it out because round about this time, Games Workshop had revealed that there was a female custodian in the Adeptus Custodes Codex. At that time, they made a public statement saying that there have always been female custodes since the beginning of the first 10,000, ever since the Emperor started making them. Now, naturally, certain people who don't actually play 40k, but who use it as a cudgel in the culture war, were very upsetty spaghetti by this, for totally legitimate and not at all bullshit reasons. They were like, oh no, women super soldiers in my game, it's woke now. And we've been over those reasons, and, we'll go over them in another segment sometime as to why all of their concern trolling was bullshit. So at the time, having recently found this, I was talking about how fascists look at this game and are like, yep, no politics here. None whatsoever. This was one of my most engaged with tweets ever. Yeah, literally cooties in the treehouse. And you know what? I'm not gonna go over the comments, because the comments are, for the most part, absolutely awful. There are a couple of people who say it's only politics if they can understand and hate the politics, otherwise it's just entertainment, which was 700% true. Sargon found it. Yeah, Sargon found one of my other comments about how the Imperium are the good... I said the Imperium are not the good guys, and he responded to my tweet. And I told him that I don't care what someone who thinks the age of consent depends on the child thinks about good and evil. And then I blocked him. I then took a look at the hidden replies, and there were people in there calling me a mutant, so that just goes to show you that none of them actually play these games. They just love using them in their culture war. But yeah, the fascists saw this game, and they were like, ooh, a new grimdark game that doesn't have the women and the wokes in it? Perhaps we can take this one over instead. They tried to. And they were kicked out of the Discord when they came in and started spouting fashy bullshit, but just turning the usual talking points from Xenos and everything about that. They substituted it for different forms of heresy, and they changed out Space Marine images for hyper Christian images. Because they were totally just interested in playing the game and were just asking questions. So the people of the Trench Crusade Discord did the responsible thing, looked up the people who were joining, saw that there were a bunch of fashy dipshits who were trying to join to use it as a culture war bludgeon, and banned the fuck out of a whole bunch of them. Now, there were certain fascists who were very much opposed to this, who were very, piss baby mad about this. The Archcast, a man who is no longer allowed to use the word Warhammer in his name because of what a piece of shit he was, to the point where GW was like, get our name out of your fucking mouth, was like, Trench Crusade goes full woke, bans all politics except LGBTQ politics. No, they just don't want you to be a fucking homophobe and transphobe in their Discord. They don't want you using their artwork as your culture war weapon. And so they were told to fuck right off. The Trench Crusade people themselves have plenty of queer people and lefties in their chat, in their dev team, and so they said that Trench Crusade is not home to fascists. It's not home to sexists, racists, homophobes, or transphobes. And the culture war weirdos, who totally aren't those things, by the way, were like, way to shit on 99% of your audience. Good luck finding anybody to buy your game. As if they were ever going to spend money on it in the first place. These people didn't buy 40k models. They didn't buy the books. They didn't buy paints. They didn't buy anything. They make AI slop and scream slurs at people on Twitter. So, but thanks to all of those people pulling out of backing Trench Crusade, they all screamed, go woke, go broke. And because all of those people pulled out of Trench Crusade's Kickstarter, I'm sad to report that Trench Crusade... What? They have blasted past their $66,666 Kickstarter goal and are over $1.2 million in backers already, with only 10 days to go. But I was told that if you go woke, then you go broke. I was told that there's no room for woke politics in tabletop games. It just goes to show that if you make a place that is welcoming to good people and does not allow the Nazis to come in, that you will get a supportive audience. So much for being 99% of your fans. Get fucked, Arch. Get fucked, culture war dipshits. Just get fucked. You are not welcome in polite society, and you will not survive the winter, is my hope. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, hit the subscribe button, and remember that the world is only as dark as we allow it to be.